Well, hello and welcome back. My name's Kieran Siemens, and we're going to do some drawing today. We're going to do something a little bit different. I've had some questions about how do I practice drawing? How do you get into the routine of practice? And I think that's a really good subject. I think it's something that we could kind of dive into and explore a little bit, have a little bit of fun with. What do you think? So, let's do some kind of drawing practices. Let's have a look. All right? Shh. Here we go. Okay, so the question really was all about practice. How do you practice? What is the best way to practice? How do people practice? I think the beginning of the whole feeling of practice is not to expect anything from it. That you need to get to a point where you're drawing something that you want to draw, that you want to practice. That you're drawing a dog or a cat or a hand or whatever you want, and just draw a lot of them. So, for example, if I was to draw a dog, okay, I want to draw a dog. Somebody's asked me to draw a dog. I'll start with a shape. Now I'll draw a nice long body, and maybe I want a long, kind of like a long nose to him, you know. So that's my kind of shape, and I'm not really thinking too much about it. I'm not expecting too much of it. I like the long, thin kind of body to him. I like the thin face to him. A nice big lumpy nose. What kind of ears? Maybe I'll give him nice shaggy ears, you know? Like a big kind of shaggy dog ears to him. And I'll give him some nice eyes. Now that kind of looks a little bit like a sad eye, so let's make it a sad eye. Now, I'm not expecting anything from this drawing. I'm just trying to draw a dog. And that is the goal. And that is all it should be. And I should practice it. What do? Do I give him some hair? Okay, I'll give him some hair. Now these drawings are not in any way meant to be beautiful. Now you might find that somewhere along the line you find that you fall in love with this drawing and you think it's the greatest drawing you've ever done. But for now, we're just practicing. Now, the whole point for practicing for me is that I get into a feeling of what in this case, a dog is. He's got little round feet. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, and he's got big legs that are kind of long and folding up, and he's got more little round feet there. Okay, well, let's do the same on that side. Let's give him a little long feet. Okay, so that's our practice. That's our dog, and that's fine. That's kind of like a nice version of a dog. But we could also do a short dog. Okay, so let's do a little short kind of stumpy dog. And again, we're just practicing. Maybe like a little kind of pug or a little kind of bulldog type thing, you know, and it's all kind of, and we are just thinking mostly about shapes. When I'm drawing, I'm thinking about shapes, and I'm only thinking about shapes, and I'm not thinking about doing anything particularly amazing from it. But like this, I don't really like that shape. Okay, so let's draw another shape that's similar to that. Let's draw it up here. Let's draw in more squares so that I kind of get this feeling that this idea is a good idea, but maybe we've got a nice wide type of dog, you know, that he's got this kind of smile that just takes over his whole face, you know. And this gives us this feeling that it's child's play, you know. And the way that we can do it is that we can just have fun with it. And the more that we have fun with it, we find, along the way, we find little ideas. And with these little ideas, we come across our main kind of lesson from that. Now, I like the shape. Okay, so bring down his little feet. Okay, maybe that isn't really working with a fat type of dog. So, what other types of dogs could we get? We could get a real kind of shaggy dog, couldn't we? And the way of practicing here is that we're just trying to loosen up our mind. That we're trying to kind of get to this point of finding elements that we actually like along the way. We can kind of give him some kind of, give him some little teeth, and we could give him some very shaggy body. And we could give him some very long little legs. So as we're practicing, as we're kind of thinking, and maybe we could loosen up and we could do something a bit more of an angular shape. So we do a little bit more of a kind of banana type shape to him. So as we're actually doing this, we're starting to find elements that work. Now that's quite a nice shape. I like that. I like this idea that he's kind of got these type of long kind of eyes. That kind of looks quite nice, quite like a puppy feeling to it. So we're kind of discovering as we're drawing. We're kind of exploring, and we're not getting precious at any point. We're just having childish fun. Now there, I quite like that head. I like the shape of that head. But I quite like that body. So could I somehow add that type of body to it? Well, let's see. Would that work, bringing it down? Would it be better if we brought it up? Maybe we'll bring it up. And maybe we'll make him really long. So, as we bring him down, we've got his same little round feet. Now that is actually starting to get some nice shapes in the character there. Now I'm starting to like some of the elements on that. So as you're kind of playing with it, you could start to think, well, okay, I like that element of the head. And I like the element of the nose, so let's do something like that. Let's give him a little lip here. And let's give him some nice big baggy eyes. Now this idea of practicing is just about, mostly the word I would say is just having fun. Because the more you're kind of practicing with it, if you're having fun about drawing dogs, for example, in this situation here, what you're finding is that because you're having fun and you're just like playing, I want to maybe put little kind of whiskers on him. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Oh, that's quite nice. That's quite cute. Well, maybe I didn't like those big ears. Maybe we could give him little ears. Maybe we could kind of give him little kind of round ears like that. And what it's doing is it's slowly starting to build a character. And that is the best way of doing any type of practicing. Just doing it in a very childish way. Right, I'm starting to like that now. I'm starting to like this idea of having this big, thick collar on this tiny little dog. And what it's kind of doing, don't worry about the spacings and stuff like that. It's just a fun drawing. What about if I was to bring his body over and be very square too? What about if I mirrored this type of feeling here with his tail? What about if I gave him a lovely little curly tail? And then it's starting to build this feeling of the character. What about if we gave him very short little legs? Like that. Now, as we're kind of putting this character together, it's really starting to get this childish, fun part of your mind going. That it's not a serious drawing. It's not something we really need to worry about. Now my nib is falling out, so I'm going to just push it back in. So, practicing is something about just exploring some shapes. What about if the dog was, I don't know, maybe he was a little bit more of the nose was in the middle of a square. What about if he was like that type of shape? What about if he had these tiny little eyes? And I like this idea of the hair. Maybe it was like a long-haired dog, and we could really only see his eyes through the hair. Now, these are not important drawings, but these are important little ideas. These are important practicing. And what it kind of gives you the feeling is like it's this very long, hairy dog. Now, again, what we did there, we mirrored off the shape, so we could mirror off the shape here and have his tail sticking out like that. You see the same. So these little ideas kind of let you practice this idea of shapes. And I've talked about shapes many times now. And in the same way that you're thinking of circles and squares, and these are simplifying down every single thing that you're drawing. So we've had like a long square type of shape there, rectangle shape, square shape. What about if we were to do a round dog? What kind of feeling would we get if we had a round head? Okay, let's start off with some hair. Let's give him some nice little hair. And we give him a nice round face. Now that's quite nice. What kind of nose can we give him? Can we give him a long nose? Now, when you're kind of doing this in your sketchbook, or you're doing this on a piece of paper, or you're not getting too precious. And when you're starting to get precious, then you're not practicing. You're trying to achieve something. And I feel practice is just about getting into a point of filling your head with some little bits of knowledge. For example, there, I find I like the round head much better than the square. You might like the square. You might like this long, thin. And we'll try a long, thin in a moment. And I like this idea that maybe he's got these kind of almost like koala bear type ears, you know? Maybe he's kind of got these big kind of fluffy ears. And the beautiful part about practicing your drawing and sketching with your drawing is that it doesn't matter if you're drawing it in ink or you're drawing it in anything else. Let's give him a little kind of toothy dog. Now, what this does now is it's making everything into shapes. The collar will be a nice round shape. And we'll do his body very rounded. Almost kind of like some kind of sausage dog. And we'll give a little bit of the same shape with his ears on the ball of his tail. Something round and fluffy. And we'll do his legs. Whatever type of legs you're thinking about at the time. And if you were talking to me, you might say, what about if he's got some nice little fat chunky legs? And maybe he's got a pose like Mr. Miro's got. Mr. Miro always stands with one little paw up. Like a kind of hunting dog. Although he's not hunting, he's more posing, you know. He has this kind of like standing on this leg and then he's up with this all the time. And it builds a little bit of character into this dog that we're building up with these little chunky legs. So by practicing and practicing your shapes and practicing your ideas and your elements of whatever subject it is, a horse, a dinosaur, a dog in this case. Okay, we'll try and do a skinny one. You're actually kind of getting into the point of, you know, a dog's got a long nose or long ears or he's got a wagging tail. So these type of elements you can kind of build into your character. Let's give him some big googly eyes. Okay, and we're going to keep everything very thin. Okay, again, we're just practicing. There's nothing important about this. We're just trying to think of a nice thin dog. And I'm going to keep him very, very thin, and I'm going to give him a little kind of bit of a kind of confused mouth. I kind of like that idea. So in most cases, these type of drawings, I don't throw them out. I'll just keep going until I fill up the whole paper with different shapes and different ideas. And what you will find is that you might be, later on, you're looking through your drawings and you find this piece of paper and you go, oh, I love that. That one there, that one, or that one, or that one, or that one, or that one. I love that idea. Maybe I could make a big illustration of it. Maybe I could make a big drawing of it. And I think I've told you before that, like, when people come to visit me, a lot of times when they're looking around my scribbles and sketches that are littering the house, And I say littering. Yes, I said littering. Littering my house. That a lot of times people fall in love with a particular drawing. You know, they might see a little scribble on the corner of a piece of paper and say, "Oh, I love that." My friend did it recently when she visited. She saw this little face of I think it was like a cat, and it had this kind of disturbed eye. It was all scribbly, 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 and she loved it, and she asked to take it, and she took it home, and for me, I couldn't quite see what was so special about that little doodle, but she loved it. And that is the whole point of art. That the drawing, I do it on my channel all the time. Sometimes I'll do a drawing and I don't like it, but I've done a video and I've done a talk and I'll post it up. And then somebody will say, "Oh, that's my favorite." Okay. It's not my favorite, but it's your favorite. That's the beauty of art. That I might like Francis Bacon and you might like Da Vinci, or you might like Dali or whoever. We all have different tastes, and that's what makes the world spin. What makes the world beautiful. So there we've got this kind of strange, bizarre kind of dog here, and actually this one is starting to be my favorite. But I don't think I would have really done a dog that's that kind of shape. Give him a little paw. But I'm really glad that I did. And maybe now that I've kind of got this knowledge here, and this is what this is all knowledge, that when I come to draw my next dog, maybe I will draw a nice long thin dog, and maybe he's got some kind of crazy type of bushy tail, like an anteater. That's kind of what he looks like. He's kind of like an anteater dog. And he's got this big kind of bushy tail. Don't worry about your sketches crossing over. It's all just fun. And I'm really starting to like this idea, this one. And we'll just give him some little legs. And what a lovely character this one has. I love the expression on him. And that expression doesn't look like any of the other expressions. So everything's kind of individual. So if you're practicing your hands or your feet or whatever, each time you draw a new foot or a new hand, try to draw it a different way. Try not to copy a pattern. If you're drawing a star or a bird or something, vary every single one that you do. So that you might do a very skinny bird, and then the next after you do a little chubby bird. There you go, I like that one. I almost kind of feel like he needs to have spots on him. And again, that's something that we didn't do on some of the other dogs, and that's a really pretty part of his character, that he's a spotty dog. How lovely is that? Now that's almost like a drawing for the day. That's something that would probably appear in one of my regular videos. Something of that. And it's got a really lovely feeling to it. Maybe even give him some whiskers, Lovely. Now, because we're starting to relax also, You're starting to relax your thinking, and your first drawing you're a little bit more tense and you're a little bit more. But as you're drawing things, you can go back into some of the other ones and maybe think, well, maybe he's got a little pause here. Maybe this dog is standing up on two legs, but he's really hairy. I like this idea. And this is the whole fun of just practicing, redrawing the elements of a dog, a monkey, a whatever you're drawing, a person, people's faces are another one. Drawing people's faces, drawing a dog that is like that long, and he's quite long but he's very thick, so we'll give him a nice big thick nose, and we'll drag him all the way. Oh, got a little bit of ink there. And we'll give him some little legs. Wouldn't that be a lovely character? You know, maybe this, just to kind of make things different. Maybe this one's got like sunglasses on. Wouldn't that be cool? A dog with sunglasses on. We'll give him a nice big smile, a nice big toothy grin. And again, it kind of adds to this way of kind of not getting so caught up in having to do a dog a certain way, or having to do a dog that looks like this or looks like that. We just got this little short-legged, long-bodied, almost like a kind of sausage dog. And you can see how different each one is. So, last one down here, what kind of shape could we come up with? You know? Well, let's kind of give him a nice kind of bend. So it's almost like, so it's kind of like a dancing dog, you know? Yeah, we've got something up like that. I haven't even seen the face yet, and I've already drawn the legs because I like this idea of him being some kind of dancing dog. And he's kind of got like a banana shaped body. He's got this big bend to him. So I hope this is a little bit of an idea of how I approach my practicing. My practicing is something that is 100% fun. Okay? 100% fun. And if it's not fun, then make it fun. Make it into something that is so relaxing and it makes you laugh that maybe I'm going to do some big eyes with eyelashes. Maybe it's a lady dog. And that makes it really, really pretty. And I find if you start to draw this way, you will find that when you actually come down to doing a piece of art, doing a drawing, doing an illustration, doing whatever you need to do, that you will find that the whole process has become something that's more enjoyable. And it won't be so has to be this or has to be that. It'll be something that is very much a fun process. Now that's a very thick tail, so I'm going to try and curl it up into something like that. Isn't that a lovely dog? And I don't know why, but I'm very, very tempted to do this dog very stripy, because I feel like it's more of a like a dancer's color. You know, it's like a pattern to it, something very fashionable to it. And wouldn't that be beautiful? It was like pink and yellow or something like that. What a beautiful drawing that would be. And by loosening up your mind so much that, excuse me, that these drawings are little doodles. And as they sit around in your studio or your room or your bedroom or your drawing back room, wherever you do your artwork, you'll find that you have developed a style of fun. And fun is a magical word when it comes down to drawing. Because if you can put fun into your drawing has such a life to it. It becomes something so beautiful that when you sit down and you find old sketches and old doodles, you're so excited to find them. Oh, I remember this one. This was what, and how cool is that? And there you have a beautiful stripy dog, and I really like that one. I really like this kind of dancing pose. It almost makes me feel like his body is kind of dancing and enjoying life. So as you look through your over your page, don't be afraid to kind of go back into some of them and say, well, that one's a little bit bland. Maybe if I was to change that into some teeth, that might kind of make him a little bit more interesting. Make him a little bit of a scary dog. Or maybe I could kind of give him some hair. Maybe I could kind of make his eyes a little bit more clear, because they're not really very clear at the moment. Maybe I could make them more defined. And then already you've changed the whole character of that sketch just by going in and relaxing your mind and having fun with it. You know, maybe this one I didn't draw the body of it. Maybe this one is like a dog fish. In the same way that you probably have catfish, you've got a dog fish. Now, one of you clever people is going to write to me and say that there really is a dog fish. But for now, we have got our mind is starting to relax now. Our mind is starting to have more fun and just saying, wouldn't it be funny if he was a fish? Wouldn't it be funny if he had teeth? Wouldn't it be funny if... And you can go through and kind of add all your little scales to him. And so practice, 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 but enjoy it. Enjoy the whole process. And don't, once you finish your practice, don't just go and throw it away. This will go on my shelf. This will go in with all the drawings that I do every day. It'll go into the same pile. So as I do my drawing for today, I will do it and I'll be very pleased with it and I'll put it on the pile. This will go on the pile as well. So that when I'm going through all those illustrations and trying to find something really special, I will come across this. And I will think, I love that. I love that one there. That kind of big, long, kind of sausage dog at the top there. That one. I love that. I'm going to make that into a long illustration. I'm going to make it even longer with big sunglasses, and maybe I'll even put like a black and white suit on him, you know? And then you're starting to look at all these elements that you've drawn up. These are all fresh ideas just falling out of your mind, out of your inside Googlings. And you've got a few characters. I like his face. I like the shape of that. That's something that I can work with. And so out of a day of just doodling and sketching, you're teaching yourself. You're relaxing your mind. You're putting fun elements into your work. And all of these things together turn your morning's sketches, your morning practice, and you should do it very regular. Just put down a piece of paper and just doodle. Just draw whatever comes into your mind. Just don't get too precious. Don't stop and think, what shape should I do next? Maybe I should do a Don't. Just think, I've done a square, I'll do a sausage. I've done a sausage and I've done a square, I'll do a round. And just keep. Maybe I'll do a long round, more like an egg-shaped dog. Maybe I'll do like a fat sausage. And just keeping your mind fresh, keeping your mind relaxed, keeping all those elements fun. And if you keep it fun, doing your practice will be a fantastic pleasure in your day. And practice for me is a great pleasure, and I really, really enjoy it. So, I hope that gave you some little insight into practice, okay? And getting into a mindset for practice about relaxing your mind. And every element of this paper, you can constantly rework, constantly add this, add that, like we did with half-drawn dog that I didn't know what to do with. I changed it into a fish dog. And those elements are like a muscle. That fun part of your brain is like a muscle, and the more you use that fun element, the stronger it will be, and the more you'll be excited to add little fun elements to your drawing through a day. So I hope that helped, and I will see you back here again tomorrow for some more drawing. Thank you very much for being there. And if you haven't subscribed, go that way and subscribe. And if you haven't been to the shop, go that way and go to the shop. And I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you, as always. Thank you very much for being here and sharing your time with me. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.